Hey, kid stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so, but if you're going to go, can you tell everyone to stay awesome, please?
Okay. Stay awesome and stay safe.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, kid stuff. Daddy has to carry on with his ice cream, okay?
I will take care of it.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
All right. See you guys soon. All right. Thanks, babe. Right, guys. Story time by the fire. Whew, this thing is hot. I'm trying to get the whole Christmas spirit thing going here. Now, I wanted to talk to everybody about racism. It's one of my favorite topics, considering it's been such a big part of my life, all my life, being a South African. And I want to tell you this story because, guys, it's a feel-good, please. It's a Christmas story, even though it didn't happen during Christmas. It's still a Christmas story. It's something that has been incredibly difficult for me to talk about, and it's something that I've time and time again wanted to make a video, and every time I sit down to record it, because I don't script my videos, I think of an idea, sometimes I write down bullet points and then I just go for it, but every single time I've recorded something, it's just come out wrong. So I thought the best way for me to, just do it is to just say it live on camera. So here goes. It happened to me during my trip in 2016. And I had been traveling now for weeks. And don't forget, I drove 10,000 miles in about a month during that trip. I went a very long way. And I was in Salem. Not the witch Salem, the other one. So somewhere in the south. So there I was. And I had these subscriber meets every day. And what we would do is I used to arrange them in an Applebee's. By the way, Applebee's, fantastic. Not for the food or anything, because they're okay. They got a full menu. It's all kind of microwave food or whatever. But I loved it anyway. They're so accommodating, because I would just turn up at Applebee's and say I would like a table for 15 or something. And they'd say, okay, and they'd set me up. And 15, 20 people might arrive, 30 people, and then we just add another table. And in fact, the one in New York City, it was insane. So many people turned up that they actually ended up moving us to a private room. We had about 100 people there. I've got pictures, it was incredible. It was one of the best evenings of my life, I loved it. Anyway, I'm getting off point here. One of these evenings, one of my subscribers gave me a card that I could use at the Circle K. It's got a little bit of money on it, it's like probably at $20. So they're like, here, you can use this to add some petrol or whatever to the car. So I went in and I just had this card on me because it was a Circle K shop, and I just wanted coffee because I love to chug coffee when I take these long road trips. So I went and I got a sort of a big gulp of coffee and went to the front, and I gave the cashier my card, and she took the card, and for some reason, because this was out in the middle of nowhere, right? She didn't know how to use it, or the system didn't work or whatever, and she's like, sorry, I can't use the card. Do you have cash on you? So I was like, sure, I'll go get some in the car, because I had cash in the car. And as I was about to go, guy behind me tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, don't worry about it, I'll take care of that. And I turned around and there was this black trucker, and he bought my coffee for me. And it was a life-changing moment for me. And I have to tell you why. And you have to, this is the part that's so difficult for me to articulate. And the reason why I haven't made a video about this so far is my entire life growing up in South Africa, everyone knows South Africa's got a race issue between black and white. It always has. We had apartheid back in the day, which was abolished when I was growing up. And from the moment I can remember, there's been this immense amount of societal hatred towards people like myself. The white minority in South Africa is blamed for every little problem that there is in the country, and whether or not there's some truth to that or not is not what I'm going at here. What I'm going at is that when you grow up as a young child with very little knowledge of the world around you, and you're being told as early as in your primary school that you're the reason why everything is wrong and that you owe so much. And as you grow up into a young adult, you are expected to always give to help starving African children. You're expected to give to the beggars on the road will come up to you, the black and white beggars, but it's majority black. The country's majority black, 80+% black in South Africa, will come to you with an expectance that you give them money because you owe them something. The fact that every single bad experience in my life was perpetuated by a black person. And I'm talking about the big ones, like the armed robbery at my house where they beat up my mother and her secretary and tied them up and put them in a trunk of a car. The fact that my friend that I grew up with, this lovely young girl, was brutally murdered by a black person. The fact that I was attacked and assaulted on multiple occasions and shot at by black people. The fact that my sister was hijacked at gunpoint by a black person. The fact that every memorable, bad, traumatic experience in my life has come from and been done by a black person. And at the same time, I'm always being blamed for being the cause of all the problems of all the black people in South Africa. I can't explain what that does to a person growing up, and all the time trying to be decent and trying not to allow yourself to become racist based on your own personal experiences is very tough. And yet I grew up with very good black friends on the farms when I grew up in the more sort of rural parts where we grew up. When I was young, in my school and high school, I had good black friends who grew up with me, my peers. But this was the first time in my life ever that a black person had ever done anything for me. And I remember it was $1.85 for that cup of coffee. And it may as well have been $1 million that the guy had spent on me, because it showed me something. It showed me that America works. It showed me that all this bullshit that you hear all the time about how racist America is and all that is just that. It's just bullshit. And although I will not discount the fact that there's truth to it in certain aspects, etc., the fact of the matter is, for a black man to buy me a coffee and to do something so generous just made me instantly fall in love with this country. And I'm a very generous person. I don't talk about it a lot, but I love to give when I can, and I will always help people in need. And I don't ever expect anything in return. I don't expect anyone to do anything for me. That's not in my character. But this was profound to me. And that guy, whoever you are, you don't know what a massive impact you had on my life. And all I can do is thank you. And that's my Christmas story, which is very bizarre, I suppose. And I just wanted to say that I've had nothing but positive experiences with interacting with the majority of people here in America. And I've been here long enough that the honeymoon period is no longer there. For those of you who are worried that I'm just looking at everything through rose-tinted glasses, I see the problems, as I did in China after living there for so many years. And the positives far outweigh the negatives. for those of you who haven't experienced America, you are missing out. If you can, put all the nonsense you hear in the news aside, because the news internationally seems to have a spotlight focused on the negative aspects of America and America alone, really. It's kind of interesting how that works. You can look past that, just like I did when I was in China, you know. What changed my take on China was the fact that the politics really started to affect me in a terrible way. And the fierce xenophobia and nationalism started to affect my family and affect me. You know, the fact that I have Chinese neighbors here, and the fact that I have Vietnamese neighbors, and the fact that I've got Swedish neighbors, and the fact that I've got actual American neighbors too, is just so incredibly cool. I love the fact that everybody gets along and shares a kind of a common set of values of decency towards each other. And it's not a, you know, white Warren, Zhong Warren kind of situation where it's like us versus them like it is in China. So everybody around me here has an equal opportunity to achieve what it is they want to achieve. And you don't have stupid things like my Vietnamese neighbor will never be told he can't stay in a hotel here, and he'll never be told that he can't open a certain kind of a bank account because he's, you know, not white type thing. And so that's the beauty of America, is that there is equal opportunity for everyone, and as long as you're willing to look past the bullshit and just stick your head down and get to work, you can.